So this is about the idea that I had, and I'd love to hear what your opinion is on this. So the whole thing is the solo journey. And let me break it down to you about how I came to this conclusion. So just thinking in general, have you ever thought about like when you go to normal everyday things like when you go to work and you interact with people or you go to the store and you see people just in passing? And have you noticed that have you ever like looked in somebody's eyes at least just in passing and just saw that like you could feel that or you could see that there's something wrong. And when you go throughout life, like when you get to work, like everybody complains about their problems, like it seems like in 2024 that nobody is having a good time in life. And it, it's kind of strange, to be honest with you. It's almost like what is going on in the world. Like there's a lot of like craziness going on right now, and a little bit too much to explain in one video. But I've noticed that it just seems like overall the whole landscape of life is like nobody is really happy. It seems like everybody's struggling, and like we're just trying to make it day to day, and just that's what it is, just trying to make it to the next day. Now here's the flip side of that. This is the solo journey. Now, the reason why I came to this kind of conclusion, or you can call it a solo story too, I kind of go back and forth between the two. But the solo journey is just being a little bit different. Actually, it's being completely different. Um, this came to the realization that, like I was wondering why, like when I look at people and I'm like going through life and like, why is everybody so sad? And then I look at myself in the mirror, I'm like, my default feelings or emotions are like contentment and happy. Like, of course, I have problems. I have things going on in my life. I got bills and, got to go to work and got to, I have responsibilities too. But at the same time, it's just, I don't really think about that as like the main thing that I'm thinking about all the time. And I started to do a little bit of a deep dive on, like my thoughts and like why I feel this way. And then I can't really relate to many people around me. And what I came up with is that I realized that I haven't lived a life that most people have lived. And I'll just give you like a overview. This is not like a brag session or anything, but it's to kind of give you like a deep dive into like where my mindset came from. So, and I always like to start the story, like high school, like I didn't have a traumatic childhood. I had an amazing childhood and I went through, high school and I graduated and stuff like that. But my main realization as to doing things differently or my solo story or my solo journey came from college. Now, I think I might have mentioned this in like a couple of videos that, like I, I I was in school to play football. I was on scholarship and I was in school for 5 years. And throughout that time, I only got to play like one full season in junior college. And when I transferred to go to D1, I played like a half a season. And my college career was done. And then I had a decision to make. So I could either like I enjoyed football. I had only been playing football up to that point, like from being a junior in high school, and that was like my first time ever touching the field of a football team. And because of that, like I still wanted to play. Like all the people that I played with, in high school and in college, they played since they were little kids. Like I didn't get a chance to do all that. I played starting off as a junior, so I felt like I still had more left in the tank. So I knew that I had aged out of the NFL, and because I had aged out of that, like I still wanted to play. So I started looking at different opportunities. So I looked at the CFL and, like arena leagues and all this kind of stuff. So I was trying to figure out a path. And, being like a college dropout, like there's not many options. Like you have to like start taking on, like a lot of different responsibilities if like if you want to go further without the coaches behind you and without your trainers behind you and all this structured program. So this is where my solo journey started. It started from me wanting to do something that was kind of off the beaten path, because at that moment in time the only option I had that was in front of me that everyone said to do was get a job. And I did that, but I didn't get a job just to live. I did it to fund my dream, because I still wanted to play. I felt like I had a lot of gas still left in the tank. So I went after that. And my realization of going after that, I realized that I kind of like broke off from what was expected of me. And then like I was kind of like in this void to where I had to figure out my own path. Like there was nobody who could tell me what I was supposed to do in life. Like my dad has gave me the best advice. He always used to say, do the best that you can. And although it seemed like, pretty general advice, it was actually the best advice that, anyone could give me. And I realized where it came from is because like he can't tell me how to go after pursuing my dream of, playing football after college because nobody around us has done that. So like the only thing that I could do was what I could do. It's not what anybody else could do. Where there was no references to like even go back and ask anything. Everybody around me, like I was not around anybody from college or anything, and then I just had to piece it together one piece at a time, all while like trying to hold a job and fun like tryouts and combines and staying in shape with gym membership and drinking protein and all this stuff. So this was the beginning of my journey to finding out how I wanted to operate in life. And the one thing that I realized is the deeper that I dove into this kind of solo mindset, the more I realized that as I looked around, like there was nobody else that I could really rely on except for myself. And the cool thing about it was every time that I went off somewhere to do something different, I could come back and bring back, different information or like things that I found out, things that I did, and people were just like, wow, that's crazy. Like, how'd you do that? How'd you do that? And then the more that I leaned into it, the more things that I found that my life was pretty unique. And I started to rely on myself more than I relied on outside things. I was so far off the beaten path of, living life that I, I, I had to rely on me. So with that being said, it's just that, this solo journey, this is something that I think that we're all responsible for doing. Like, just think about it. In 2024, like we are 20 years or so into, doing what we were told to do. We graduated school, we went out and got a good job, we started putting money in our 401k, and trying to live the best way that we could. But the fact of the matter is, after all that, we did what we were supposed to do. But when you look around, there's nobody that is seems like they're having a good time. There's nobody that's enjoying their life. It seems like we're putting more of ourselves out there and there's nothing coming back. And this solo journey, this is for 2025. I'm leaning completely into this. Now think about something that's in your life. Like is there something that you always wanted to do? Because there's a lot of things that I want to do in life, and none of it involves working until I'm 70 some odd years old to enjoy 5 years of my life on my 401k while I can't do anything. So I'm deciding in 2025 from there here on out that I'm going to go on my solo journey and find out what it is that I want to do in my life. And in order to do that, the reason why I started off with fitness is because like you need a strong, solid, healthy body before you can do anything else. And like I wanted to do like a fitness channel, but at the same time, that's only 30 minutes to an hour of my day. Most of the time, just like probably not even that. And there's so much more life outside of fitness. So like this is an all-encompassing thing. This is like a life journey. It's not just fitness. This is fitness. This is spirituality. This is mentality. This is finances. This is everything. A whole complete life. And I realized that all the things that I've done in life have like it encompasses all of that. I have done a lot of dope stuff in my life. And just to kind of give you like an overview, like just because of I try to play, chase my dream to play football. I've been to Europe several times to play football. And also like after that, without a degree or anything like that, I became like a consultant to train like medical record software. And because of that, like with no public speaking experience or anything like that. And with that, I've traveled to about 40 out of the 50 states. I've met so many amazing people. I've done so many cool things. I've been to so many cool places. And it was all because I decided to take my solo journey. I started to rely on myself more than I relied on outside sources. So, what I'm trying to say is that, like, I'm not trying to give you a path to like getting a better life, but what I'm trying to do is open your mind to the possibility that there is something else out there for you, something beyond what people have told you that you were capable of. Because if I were to listen to, or if I were to listen to the advice of, most people, go get a job and live out your life, then I wouldn't be here talking to you today. I would be, too busy working some job that I hated. But instead, I'm here talking to you in the comfort of my own home because, like, I'm taking a path that, that wasn't written out for me. I've written this out, every single line, one at a time, and I just take it as it comes. So I for 2025, what I encourage you to do is just think about this. Think about, like, now how you do things, and like, usually we go places with friends and family and things like that, and then, like, when it comes to telling a story, like, it usually starts off with, I remember when, or do you remember when, or things like that, because it's always a group setting and everyone experienced the exact same thing. And then when you're telling a party that wasn't there in attendance, it usually goes over, everybody's that was there is fighting over the best part of the story. Like, I remember that time when we used to do this and we did that. And you remember when we did this, and then somebody cuts you off and then gets to say the good part, and then you'd be like, dang, I was gonna say that. Now, think about this. The solo story is the opportunity to say that, okay, you can take your time and you don't have to rush and flip over your words because you were the only one there. Only you can tell the story, and everyone there has to listen. And what comes out of that is two different things. Either it's going to evoke some kind of jealousy, or it's going to evoke some kind of spark within the other person that's hearing it. Like, maybe I can do that too. So, what I'm hoping that you do is, I hope that you join me on this journey in 2025 and beyond to find out what exactly that it is that you want your life to be. Because I'm challenging every single thing that I thought was true. Because every day that I get up, I see something that I didn't want, or I see something that doesn't make sense, and I think about, where did that come from? Like, why is it like that, and why does it have to be like that? Who said it had to be like that? So this year is all about change. And change just doesn't happen with fitness. That fitness is just the beginning, because if you want to chase your dream, chase the bag, do a side hustle, anything like that, it all has to start with the fitness. Like, if you're sick half the time, you can't go and chase the bag. You can't do it. I know that your body does run without any kind of outside intervention. And that's the way that most people actually live. Like, it works. So let me just do it. And that's why we're all struggling now. But that's the first part of it. Then you have to work on your mentality. So the mentality is that, knowing that you are the go-to. Like, there is not going to be anybody who thinks the way that you do or operate the way that you do, because what's going on in your mind 24/7, it can't be determined. You could try to explain to somebody, but most likely it will almost confuse people, just to like try to nail down what goes on in your head. Spirituality. So, like, I'm not talking about religion. Like, religion is important, but what I'm talking about is spirituality, like who you are as an individual. Like, we operate different ways. We all have little different quirks and things like that. And that's actually where your superpower is. It Because you think in such a unique way that you can get things done that nobody else can get done in your own special type of way. And then also, of course, finances. Now, this has to be like probably the biggest problem. Like, most, I'd say 99% of problems have to do with money. And working a 9 to 5, hey, like, I'm doing it too. But at the same time, there's more out there that, later on I'll get into, which is some pretty cool stuff. But if you think that working a 9 to 5 is going to save you, it absolutely is not. And the realization came to me is when this year, um, like I'm fortunate enough to have a pretty good job, and we get like yearly raises and things like that. They're not like significant, but they're nonetheless they're raises. And this last one, with and the demand and the increase in work is like it's always going up and up and up, and the demand is always going up. There's never any downtime, so you're always doing more work. But then I got a market adjustment where they say like, okay, we need to boost your pay a little bit. It was for 41 cents, and I'm thinking, all right, so whatever adjustment to my pay is getting eaten up by inflation immediately. And now I'm making even less. So I'm pretty much just paying in the taxes, and I am no better off than I was a year ago or 2 years ago because the way the inflation is increasing. So I decided to take matters into my own hands and find a different way to do life. And this is going to be another story, but it all started with typing in how to make money online. And the things that I've come up with are some of the dopest things I've ever seen. And I'm looking forward to inviting you all into joining that part of my journey as well, because I think that you're going to want to know more once I lay that out for you. But essentially, this is the solo journey about challenging everything that you know to be true and getting your own truths out of it. The way that you want to live your life, like we ain't getting no younger, man. We like if you're not happy now and you're doing something in order to get to a certain thing, and you know that if you're following the path that somebody else set for you, there will be no happiness at the end of it. There will be no contentment at the end of it. As long as there's something inside of you that wants to get out, there's going to be something missing from your life. So 2025 is flipping over everything that you know to be true and challenging things piece by piece. And I'm starting with challenging myself to be more open to just not just talking about fitness, just to talk about life in general. Because let's face it, fitness is only a small portion of your day. There's a big space that leaves room for the imagination to try to help out. And all I want to do is help as many people as possible try to live a happier and healthier life. And this is how I'm going to do it, by starting my solo journey, by being here for you more often, giving you all the insights that have led me up to this point of happiness and contentment and all those other amazing things. But that's pretty much all I have for you. But what I'd like you to do is tell me something that you've been thinking about that you want to challenge. It just doesn't seem right that you want to put on trial to try to change in 2025. So that's all I got for you guys today. I hope that you have an amazing day, an amazing week, and a happy new year. I'll be back later. Talk to you later. Peace.